Good afternoon, the conference committee in room 016. Today's agenda, April 26th, Tuesday, has a number of measures here, and we are happy to move along with these measures. We'll start, Chair and members, with SB 2056, Senate Draft 1, House Draft 1 relating to soil classification. And with this measure, it has a CD, and I believe members as well as our House counterparts, we have agreed that we'll use the Senate version for this measure. And to prepare the bill for our money committees, that we are looking at the insertion of the appropriation amount of $325,000, and we'll perfect the date with this measure. And so our recommendation, because both of our committees got money appropriations, and we will have to further move this measure to tomorrow if you're in agreement. So we'll continue this discussion on SB 2056 House Draft 1 to Wednesday, April 27 at 2:30 p.m. Is that okay?
Yes, thank you. And I do confirm that we do have agreement on the CD1, but we do not yet have fin release. And okay. So I agree that we should reconvene on this measure tomorrow at 2:30 here.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll add further that the meeting for Wednesday, April 27 at 2:30 will be in room 16 as well. We'll continue then on SB 2768, Senate Draft 2, House Draft 1, and this is relating to the Hawaii Youth Conservation Corps as well. We do have a CD that we have circulated, members, and you have received the circulation CD as well, Chair?
Yes.
In the House. And all we need to do is prepare this CD with an appropriation of $5 million. And this measure also has to be continued on for further discussion until we have the release from the money committees. So members, on SB 2768, we're asking that we roll this over to April 26th, Wednesday, at 2:30 p.m. in room 016.
Yes, let me confirm that's tomorrow, Wednesday, April 27th at 2:30 p.m. and confirm that, yes, we do have agreement on the CD conference draft for SB 2768 and we are awaiting fin release. So okay. Look forward to discussing this tomorrow. Okay,
mahalo. SB 2767, House Draft 1 relating to fish aggregation devices. And this as well, we will be, we have agreed that we'll pass the amendments with just the insertion and preparing the measure with an appropriation of $350,000 that will hopefully be approved by our money committees on both committees as well with the CD1, and if it's in agreement, we will defer action on this measure, roll it over for continued discussion on Wednesday, April 27 at 2:30 p.m. in room 16.
Thank you very much. Yes, to confirm, we do have agreement on the conference draft for SB 2767. But we are awaiting fin release, so let's please reconvene tomorrow, April 27 at 2:30 p.m. here in room 16.
Thank you, Chair and House members as well. And this continued measure on this agenda today for Tuesday regarding SB 3179, House Draft 2. Similarly, we have circulated the CD, which you have in your presence, and the agreement to pass with amendments, preparing this measure with an appropriation of 1.280. That's $1,288,000. And I believe we agreed to perfect the date to July 1st, 2022. Having said that, we'll defer this measure to continue discussions then for Wednesday, April 27 at 2:30 p.m. in room 16.
Thank you. Yes, to confirm, we do have agreement on that conference draft and we are awaiting fin release. So look forward to discussing this tomorrow, April 27, 2:30 p.m.
Okay, and continuing discussions on SB 3330, House Draft 1 relating to the Mauna Kea Marine Life Conservation District. Similarly, there is a CD being circulated as well. We'll continue to perfect this measure, an agreement that we pass with the amendments to include the appropriation of $300,000 as well, waiting for our clearance from the money committees, chairs and members. If it's in agreement, we'd like to move this to Wednesday, April 27, in room 16 at 2:30 p.m.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, to reconfirm, we do have agreement on conference draft for SB 3330, and yet we are awaiting fin release to vote on this. So I look forward to reconvening on this tomorrow, Wednesday at 2:30 p.m. April 27th in room 16.
Okay, thank you very much, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.
Sounds good.
Or tomorrow afternoon.
Yes, actually, we'll see you this afternoon.
Yes, for latter part of this
Yeah.
further discussions. Thank you very much. Then this concludes the hearing notice, April 26th at the 1:30 hearing in room 16, and we're adjourned.
Aloha and good afternoon. This is a conference committee for the purposes of a hearing House Bill 2024 HD1 SD2. Aloha, Chair Kim. Pleasure to be seeing you and working with you again. And aloha, Senator Favela. Today from the House, we have as conferees, co-chairs myself, Chair Tarnas, Chair Nakashima, and Chair Bronco, and Member Eli, and Member McDermott is hopefully will arrive soon.
Okay, and for the Senate conferees, myself as chair, Senator Keith Agaran, co-chair, Kanuha and Favela members.
Thank you very much.
I'm sure that Senator Agaran and Kanuha is walking right in right now.
All right. All right.
Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much. Welcome, Senator Kanuha. I want to open up this conference committee by first acknowledging and expressing my sincere appreciation to the Senate for your diligent work on this measure. And with your indulgence, I wish to take some time to explain the House position on the Mauna Kea bill and describe for the conference committee and the public a proposed conference draft of the bill for your consideration.
Okay, we would appreciate that. I think this is an important aspect of the negotiations, and the public should have knowledge as to what we're thinking and why you're proposing what you're proposing. So
thank you. I appreciate your forbearance on that. You know, as we began to engage in some serious policy discussions on the management framework for Mauna Kea, it really became clear to me that the primary focus should be on what is best for Mauna Kea itself. And as an environmental planner for my entire career in Hawaii, I recognize that environmental stewardship is an important public and personal responsibility. A healthy environment supports our quality of life. In my work on this bill, I have two main objectives for a new management framework for Mauna Kea. Respect our indigenous people by providing a substantive voice for Native Hawaiians in the management decisions for Mauna Kea. Secondly, ensure a stable, supportive future for astronomy on Mauna Kea through a community-based mutual stewardship model. Mauna Kea is of paramount importance to our community, including Native Hawaiians, non-Hawaiians, cultural practitioners, scientists, artists, hikers, photographers, stargazers, and so many more. Mauna Kea has significant environmental and cultural importance. Mauna Kea is the best place on the planet for astronomy facilities because of a combination of environmental factors, including our mid-Pacific location far from the continent, clear dark skies, stable temperature, wind, and humidity conditions. Recognizing this competitive advantage for astronomy, the Hawaii state government has invested significant resources through state agencies and the University of Hawaii to provide road access, communication and data networks, support facilities, administrative services, and resource management. Over the last 50 years, long-term leases have provided the security for US and international organizations to invest billions of dollars in constructing and operating observatories on Mauna Kea. Today, astronomy has a total economic impact to the state of approximately $220 million annually, generates about 1,300 jobs statewide, and provides significant STEM education and workforce development opportunities for our community. I represent the district, which includes the town of Waimea, where there are two headquarters of major observatories operating on Mauna Kea. My constituents, including Native Hawaiians and those who are not Hawaiian ancestry, have made their voices known to me, saying, we support astronomy that is done with respect for the environment and Native Hawaiian cultural values and provides education and employment opportunities to Hawaii's people. The Mauna Kea observatories have also made their views known to me by saying, quote, we strongly believe there is a vibrant and sustainable future for astronomy on Mauna Kea, a future based on a community model of astronomy in which relationships and partnerships between the community and astronomy thrive, upheld by the values of respect, collaboration, and inclusion. The observatories are permitted by the state to conduct activities on Mauna Kea lands, public lands that are important to multiple stakeholders and of great cultural importance to the Hawaiian community. We, the Mauna Kea observatories, are grateful for our privilege of observing the universe on Mauna Kea. The Mauna Kea Observatory's attitude of gratitude, respect for the community, and recognition of the essential role of Indigenous peoples is consistent with the priorities outlined in Astro 2020 Decadal Survey that guides the future of astronomy research in the United States. The concluding statement in Astro 2020 makes this clear. Quote, the National Science Foundation, the National Astronautics and Space Administration, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, DOE, Department of Energy, facility managing organizations, project consortia, individual institutions, and other stakeholders can work to build partnerships with Indigenous and local communities that are more functional and sustained through a community astronomy approach. And by increasing the modes of engagement and funding for one, meaningful, mutually beneficial partnerships with Indigenous and local communities, two, culturally supported pathways for the inclusion of Indigenous members within the profession, and three, true sustainability, preservation, and restoration of sites. The Mauna Kea observatories have stated, quote, it is through the lens of this framework that we remain deeply committed to ensuring the local and Native Hawaiian community is included as we work together in forging a positive future for Mauna Kea. We seek a community-based mutual stewardship model, which will allow astronomy to thrive alongside other interests sensitive to the needs of the local community. Based on all this, it was clear to the State House that the status quo was no longer acceptable. We felt the legislature had a responsibility to grapple with this very difficult and contentious issue and develop an alternative management framework for Mauna Kea. Our legislative purpose was not to criticize the University of Hawaii and its management, but rather to learn from the UH experience and recommend a management framework that builds on these lessons. The State House formed the Mauna Kea Working Group to engage with numerous representatives of the Native Hawaiian community who had demonstrated a sincere commitment to the stewardship kuleana of Mauna Kea. The dialogue and deliberations of the Mauna Kea Working Group were done with respect and humility. We learned a lot from each other and recognized we share common values and a sense of responsibility for careful stewardship of Mauna Kea. The Mauna Kea Working Group report served as the basis for drafting HB 2024, which is before us today. When the House passed HD1, the House Draft 1 of HB 2024, it contained key elements that we believe needed to be part of this new management framework. This included the inclusion of the Kumu Kanawai, a set of statements which describe the Native Hawaiian cultural worldview and values relevant to the stewardship of Mauna Kea. The bill established an independent land management authority guided by a management board of members who are mostly residents of Hawaii Island and several who are specifically identified as Native Hawaiians. The bill laid out a transition period and a financing model for the new authority. It also provided guidance to this management authority in terms of its geographic jurisdiction, its authority, the ability to limit commercial and recreational activities and limit the number of observatories on the summit. I would note that this limitation on the number of observatories is consistent with the current UH master plan and management plan and was not intended to restrict the future operations of the existing Mauna Kea observatories. As the bill crossed over to the Senate, the House recognized that the bill was still a work in progress. I am grateful that the Senate took this bill and continued working on it with Senate Draft 1 and then Senate Draft 2. You know, Chair, you know as well as I, it's always easier to kill a bill rather than do the hard work of figuring out the best policy solution to address longstanding contentious issues. Mahalo to the Senate for choosing to do the hard work. The State House acknowledges that in the Senate drafts of the bill, the management role of the University of Hawaii has been strengthened. The Mauna Kea observatories have a role on the governance board, and there is a clear statement that astronomy is a policy of the state. There were also significant changes that the Senate made to the management jurisdiction and responsibilities, the transition period, the financing model, and more. Over the last couple of weeks, House and Senate conferees analyzed the House version and the Senate version of the bill and discussed potential ideas to include in a conference draft. I appreciate your leadership, Chair, in these discussions. Today, I would like to present to you a proposed conference draft that balances the interests of the community, Native Hawaiians, the observatories, and the Mauna itself. The authority created by this conference draft of the bill would be attached to DLNR with its headquarters at UH Hilo, Imiloa Astronomy Center, or some other facility on Hawaii Island. The bill, the conference draft, articulates that ecological protection, environmental sustainability, natural resources, cultural practice, education, and science would all be fostered in a mutual stewardship paradigm. In the conference draft, there's a 5-year transition period during which the University of Hawaii would handle day-to-day operations while the new authority develops plans for stewardship, financial support, leasing process, limitations on the number of observatories, and a moratorium on new leases during the transition. The authority would also determine the establishment of the boundaries of the Mauna Kea Reserve and submit regular reports to the legislature. After the 5-year transition in this conference draft, the authority assumes the powers and responsibilities of the DLNR and the LUC over the lands of the Mauna Kea Reserve. The authority assumes the position of the University of Hawaii relative to the master lease, takes over day-to-day management, and would have the authority to assign leases. All current leases would still be in effect until 2033. The UH is released from legal obligations except for any previous lawsuits. Decommissioning the Caltech submillimeter observatory and Hokukea are still in the bill in this conference draft, but the authority is responsible for developing any other limitations on observatories. The statement about astronomy as a policy of the state is in this conference draft, but it's modified to add that astronomy as a policy of the state must be consistent with the mutual stewardship paradigm. In other words, we are not putting astronomy above all other uses, but it shows that this bill is not about killing astronomy. We want to support and provide a sustainable future for astronomy. The practice of the observatories granting UH a certain amount of observing time, which is a very valuable commodity, will continue to be part of future leases. The bill sets a minimum floor of 7% of viewing time going to UH, with a priority for research programs that involve Hawaii students, including UH, public schools, and Hawaiian language schools, and projects that collaborate with Hawaiian culture and cultural practitioners. The bill includes the operating principles of Mauna Aloha, Opu Kupuna, and Holomua Oi Kela Kela, but it does not include an articulation of the Kumu Kanawai. However, the authority could certainly incorporate these Kumu Kanawai principles if they choose to into its own rules and operational plans. The conference draft pushes back the audit to 2033 and removes the stipulation that a failed audit would result in the control reverting to the UH. The board members would be named in the first year and confirmed by the Senate, appointed by the governor and confirmed by the Senate. The composition of the management board would include seats for the chairperson of the Board of Land and Natural Resources, Hawaii County Mayor, Chair of the UH Board of Regents, an individual with INA or land resource management expertise and specific experience with Hawaii island-based management, an individual with expertise in P-12 public education, a representative of Mauna Kea observatories, an individual with business and finance expertise and management experience, an individual who is a lineal descendant of a practitioner of Native Hawaiian traditional and customary practice associated with Mauna Kea, an individual who is a recognized practitioner of Native Hawaiian traditional and customary practice, and 2 members selected by the governor from a list submitted by the House Speaker and the Senate President. Mahalo for your patience in listening to my comments. I just wanted to take this opportunity to express my thoughts about this conference draft of the Mauna Kea bill to make these legislative deliberations transparent to the public. Chair, I turn it over to you for comments, and I can distribute copies of the conference draft for your review. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. The Senate would like to acknowledge the work that the House has put into this, not just this year, but last year. We also want to acknowledge the working group and the amount of time and effort that they have put into this. I know it means a lot. And like you, I went into this with my caucus, and our goal was to support and have a pathway and a future for astronomy to continue on Mauna Kea. At the same time, also to respect our Native Hawaiian community and our local community. And with that in mind, we approached the House Draft 1 with an open mind, believing that the public should be allowed to at least hear discussions on this matter, to look at all possibilities, because it is such an important aspect, I think, of the university and our state. And this is not just a Big Island issue, it's not just a state issue, but I believe it's a global issue. And I believe that the world is watching to see how we deal with this and how we deal with Indigenous people and our Native Hawaiians as well. And so we looked at the HD1 and believe that at the end of the day, if we are not able to come to an agreement, but at least we engaged the public and we looked at all aspects of it. And so we embarked on working off the HD1. We came up with the Senate draft, thinking that that was going to at least move us forward and make a statement that the Senate certainly supported, that astronomy can thrive along with the Native community as well, and that there's room for all of us to work together. Having done the SD1, we realized and learned that there were concerns about the timing, about the negotiations, about whether or not the observatories would be willing or able to continue the negotiations and not affecting the leases and the decommissioning dates that was set up in advance. And so the Senate decided that one way to resolve this was to sort of split the baby in 2 parts, giving the conservation portion and having the authority and being the first step, and while continuing to have the university oversee the observatory precinct. And from there is where we're now at this point in time. And I think that the concerns that have been raised, and please know that we reviewed all of the testimonies that was sent in, met with all the stakeholders, as many as we could, members of the working group as well, to get ideas as to how we can put together a management oversight plan that might not be acceptable to all, but acceptable to a majority of the people that are concerned about what is going on. And it's not easy for us because there are so many different interests and as you know, the different testimonies and the different emails that we continue to receive. But I think at the end of the day, a mutual stewardship is something that we want to strive to do. I think the statement from the Mauna Kea observatories where they say, we feel a mutual stewardship model reflects and is strongly aligned with the astronomy's profession's broader aspiration. I think that's key that the observatories have acknowledged that they need to be able to work side by side with indigenous people. And so this model that the House has put in forth in the CD1, I think mirrors the Ka'ohalave Island Commission that seemed to have worked well. And so certainly this is something that we want to continue to look at. With that, I want to open up to my members if there is any comments. Senator Favela. I know that you folks have just gotten the draft.
Excuse me, I read the draft, and on behalf of me and my caucus in the Senate, I read this, and I thank my colleague, Senator Kim, and you guys coming up with this Mauna Kea stewardship, because I was busting my head going forward, didn't know how we could address some of these issues that all of our communities and non-Hawaiians and Hawaiians over 50 years. And I'm gonna tell you this, with all the work that you guys has been doing, even what I'm seeing here now, it's amazing and how the House and the Senate and the community can work together in having something that is workable for all. Seriously, I mean, I had, like I said, I had a hard time. I said, me and her talked a lot. I had a hard time, anything to do with the university. I had a little bit heartburn with that, but listening to this draft and listen to what you were saying, you know, you moved me a few times in your speech and what you were saying, and it's dead on. We need to have something this way and how it's presented and all the hard work that Senator Kim and the House had done. So, you know, I feel good about this going forward, and I just wanted to thank you guys all for your hard work, not only for the people of Hawaii, but just, you know, in general, just Mauna Kea. You know, thank you guys for Mauna Kea. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator.
Sure. Just briefly, you know, I also wanted to acknowledge the work that both the House and the Senate put into this extremely important issue, not only Hawaii Island, and as Chair Kim stated, Chair Kim, Donna Mercado Kim, statewide importance and worldwide importance. And so I appreciate the hard work that everybody has played, not only both here in the legislature, but the community being part of this process. I think that's really important. And one of the quotes that I felt really important of acknowledging was, you know, the purpose of the Mauna Kea Stewardship and Oversight Authority is to protect Mauna Kea for future generations and manage the lands contained therein for the purpose of fostering a mutual stewardship paradigm in which ecology, the environment, natural resources, cultural practices, education, and science are in a balance and synergy. I think that speaks to me through my soul of how we can find that proper balance in all the things that we do in life. So I think this is an important issue, and I really appreciate all you guys' work on it. So thank you, Chair.
You're welcome. I think the key is also the observatories, because they are the ones that are employing the people. They are the ones that are doing the programs. And so again, it is important that there are support for this kind of stewardship. This kind of mutual stewardship is very important, and is something that the Senate is concerned about. making sure. And of course, we certainly want to get the local community, Hawaiians and non-Hawaiians as well. And again, we're not going to be able to please every single person. And this is continue to be a work in progress. By no means that this will be the last of bills, but I think the key is also the appointees or those that will be on the commission, the authority, that the bill hopefully will allow them to make those tough decisions that needs to make along the way. And so with that, we're going to ask that some amendments be entertained as we go forward, and that this matter be rolled over till Thursday to allow the public as well as all of the members in the Senate, I'm sure in the House, to review the drafts, and the Attorney General as well, because this is just so important that it needs to be viewed by a lot. And that we look at possibly adding in the budget for Imiloa to be used for programs for Hawaiian immersion students and other astronomy for their possible careers, because I understand there's only like 3 Hawaiian astronomers. With the decades that we've been doing astronomy, I think that's a sad statement. And so I think we need to start to plant the seeds at a young age, and that we can do that through the work of Imiloa. Also that possibly considering moving some of the astronomy department from the University of Hawaii at Manoa to the Big Island. I understand there is a building there, was built for that purpose, and yet it remains sort of empty. So that's also a consideration to show the commitment that is for the astronomy program. Because we keep hearing that the bill is going to be killing astronomy, and that is the last thing that the Senate, and I'm sure the House as well, would not like to see. And I'm sure there may be other suggestions for possible amendments to the measure as we move forward.
I would welcome the input from the Senate, and I agree with you. We do need to give time for everyone to review this conference draft. I'd like to note for the public that after the close of the hearing today, we will be releasing a copy of this as with a press release on the House Majority webpage at hawaiihousedemocrats.com, HAWAIIHOUSEDEMOCRATS.com. Please go there and you will be able to find it soon after the end of this hearing. And I welcome everyone's input. This is a challenging issue, and we need our best minds and hearts to be able to resolve it. If I may, Chair, I'd like to ask other members on the House side if they wanted to make any comments. Chair Nakashima?
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank the conferees on the part of the House and the Senate for getting us to this point. And I am happy that about half a year ago, at the end of the last session, the House did implement the Mauna Kea working group. And I'd like to acknowledge all of the folks that participated and shared their manao with the rest of us as we work together toward a mutual understanding on the concerns and issues that the Native Hawaiians had with the Mauna, and also the understanding of where the telescopes and the astronomers were in all of this. And more than not, we were criticized a lot for trying to do away with astronomy. However, I always saw our goal and our issue to be, how do we make astronomy acceptable and palatable, and together with the Native Hawaiian community. And so, I'm pleased that we are at a point where we are now, and that it sets us well to continue to move forward along this path to try and bridge that gap and avoid any future concerns or address those concerns before they become realized. And so, I am pleased with the path we are going. I'd like to again acknowledge the members of the working group who participated long hours in getting us to this point, and look forward to continue to work with you as we hammer out the final draft of this bill.
Thank you, Chair Nakashima. May I ask Rep. Eli, who is a member of the Mauna Kea Working Group, if she has any comments?
Yes, first, just the same, just mahalo to everyone for all their hard work. When we started the working group, I did not know what to expect, but everyone put in long hours, and it was intense conversation, just as it is here. I think at the end of the day, no matter what side you are coming from, we are all looking to protect our Mauna. And I look forward to working with my colleagues, both the House and the Senate side, looking over the draft and propose amendments to see what we can do to ensure that protection of our Mauna. So mahalo.
Thank you, Representative Eli. Representative Bronco?
Sure. In the beginning, when Chair Tarnett proposed the Mauna Kea Working Group, I had said that in the hardest conversations come the best solutions. And I feel that these hard conversations, all the work from the Mauna Kea Working Group has brought us to a solution, and it still needs work, but we're there. And it's great to see, especially as a Native Hawaiian, I am pleased to see everyone at the table and to see that, astronomy has a place with Native Hawaiians as well. And I'm excited to see us moving forward. Mahalo.
Thank you, Co-Chair Bronco.
Chair, if
So
I may be allowed to
turn it
make
back to you, Chair Kim,
a
please.
couple statements that I feel compelled to make. The Senate has been, and myself particularly, have been criticized highly in the papers about us being micromanagers and, and all sorts of other things. I think this is a good example of, is this micromanaging? I mean, these are issues that of statewide concern. And when we find that we are not resolving some of these issues and the public cries out for our help, that it's imperative that we stand up and speak out and try to resolve some of these issues. And I think that's the role that the legislature has as far as autonomy. They don't have complete autonomy, especially over issues like this, as well as the budget. I also want to say that to the public, this is not House Draft 1. This is not House Draft or Senate Draft 2. This is a hybrid of sorts. This is mutual stewardship. And so those who have issues with what's in House Draft 2, House Draft 1 and SD 2, please read the bill, look at it thoroughly, and we will welcome your comments.
Yes, I echo your sentiments. Thank you very much for those comments. So I would again urge the public and everyone interested to go to the House Majority page, HawaiiHouseDemocrats.com, to obtain a copy of the proposed CD1. And with that, I would like to request that we reconvene on Thursday at 1:30 p.m. That's April 28th in room 16. And I look forward to all the input that we get between now and then, including your suggestions on things that we could do to improve the bill, and look forward to working with you as we finish up this effort in the few days that we have left this week.
Great.
Okay.
Chairs conferees, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. With that, our conference committee hearing is adjourned. Welcome to our conference committee hearing today. It's Tuesday, April 26th, 3:30 p.m. in conference room 16 here at the state capitol. We are meeting with the House and Senate conferees on two measures. First one is House Bill 1436, House Draft 1, Senate Draft 2. And if I may, Chair Inouye, to introduce my conferees.
Yes, please.
Thank you. So on the House side, we have co-chairs myself, Representative Tarnas, and Representative Bronco, and we have members Representative Kobayashi and Representative Kong. And on your side, Senator?
Yes, thank you, Chair. For the Senate conferees, myself as chair, our co-chairs, Moriwaki Lucha and Senator Favela on this measure.
Thank you very much. So we have we've had agreement on this measure, and we have been released. You have,
We do have WEM release as well. And we thank our money committees for giving us the release today.
thank you very much. Yes, we do appreciate that. So we have a conference draft for 1436 and release to vote on it. So if I may, I'd like to move forward and actually take a vote on HB 1436 with amendments.
Okay, and then just to clarify that we're just perfecting the date as well on this measure, yeah.
Yep. Yes. Scott, that's right. Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Okay. So with that in mind, may I proceed with the vote on this one?
Please, thank you, and the Senate do have quorum.
Great. Okay, so we're voting on House Bill 1436 HD1 SD2 with amendments. So it's a conference draft. Chair Tarnas votes aye. Co-chair Kitagawa is excused. Co-chair Bronco.
Aye.
Representative Kobayashi. Representative Kong. And Representative McDermott is excused. Chair Inouye, may I take the vote
Please.
for your side?
Please,
Thank you. Same recommendation, Chair Inouye.
aye.
Representative Moriwaki, co-chair.
Senator,
Senator Moriwaki, co-chair. Sorry, I promoted you to representative. I'm sorry.
thank you.
Co-chair Moriwaki. Aye. Yeah, thank you very much. Co-chair Mizalucha.
Aye.
And Representative Favela is excused.
Senator. Yeah.
Senator Favela, I have representative on the brain. I have representative on the brain. Sorry. Senator Favela is excused. Okay. Someone who has had both titles.
Okay, just a reminder, you remember we discussed
We
it,
have to
anytime we do the votes, you gotta do the time.
Yes, so it
Okay.
is 3:33. I will sign this and pass it over to you.
We found out. Oh, okay. They need to have time on the vote sheet when you took the vote. Good to know. We'll do that this afternoon. I took a vote and you know what, we didn't do the time, so my staff had to go back to YouTube. Really?
Yeah.
And redo the time.
Bring it over.
Did you know that?
I didn't know that. I know.
Yeah, so that's
That's
You roll.
what we're gonna do. And
Thank
their
you.
signature for you. Oh,
I'm signing.
okay, that's right. We'll do next one.
We can do that.
No, we've already done
Oh,
it.
we already
It's
did it?
completed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
How do we put the time?
right here, the date and the date and the time for you.
Could you put the date on it, please? Yep, and the time. Thank you very much. So we have a bill, HB 1436,
Thank
conference
you.
draft. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
If I may, I'd like to move on to the next measure, House Bill 1872, HD1 SD2, relating to sustainability. And on this measure, we have agreement. We're basically going with the Senate draft on this measure and perfecting the date. And we have fin release. And on your side,
Okay.
Senator?
Yes, For the Senate conferees on HB 18.
Oh, yes, I did not introduce my House conferees. Chair Tarnas and Bronco and members Representative Kobayashi and Representative Kong.
Okay, for the Senate conferees on HB 1872, myself as chair, co-chairs Gabbard and co-chair Shimabukuro and member Favela are present.
Thank you very much. So on this measure, the House agrees to accept the Senate position on this and perfect the date. And we do have fin release.
Okay, so do we.
You're in agreement on that?
And release as
Okay,
well.
very good. If I may, go ahead and take the vote on
Please.
this. Thank you. So on HB 1872, HD1 SD2, recommendation of House and Senate managers is to pass with amendments. Chair Tarnas votes aye. Co-chair Bronco.
Aye.
Representative Kobayashi.
Aye.
Representative Kong.
Aye.
And Representative McDermott is excused. Chair, may I take the Senate vote?
Please.
Same recommendation, Chair Inouye,
Aye.
Co-Chair Gabbard.
Aye.
Co-Chair Shimabukuro,
Aye.
and Senator Favela.
Aye.
Thank you. We have a bill.
And your time, don't forget.
Yep,
your
3:36.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
With
you.
there being no further business before us today, this conference committee is adjourned.
Good afternoon. The reconvening conference meeting for Tuesday, April 26th at the 4 p.m. agenda. And we are ready for this conference bill. For the Senate on SB 1411, Senate Draft 2, House Draft 1 relating to historic preservation. And for the Senate conferees, myself as chair, co-chair Acasio, members Misalucha and Favela.
Thank you, Chair Inouye. On the House side, we have co-chairs Tarnas, Lowen, and Bronco, and member McDermott.
Okay, for this measure, we, let's see, you have your release, I understand. We don't have
We have agreement
when
on,
on this measure.
we have agreement on the conference draft. Thank you very much. And we do have fin release. However, we do not have quorum. So if I
Okay.
may request that we roll this over and reconvene tomorrow.
Okay, that's in agreement as well. So thank you very much. And we'll be happy to be with you tomorrow
Mhm.
for a vote on SB 1411, Senate Draft 2, House Draft 1 relating to historic preservation. So this, let's see, this measure will be set on the Wednesday agenda on April 27 at 2:30 p.m. Is that time okay for you in room
Yes.
016?
Yes, that would be perfect. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
Look
Okay,
forward.
and
See you
we-
then.
This adjourns then the 4 p.m. agenda in conference room 16. Yeah, I'm fine.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. We're meeting on Senate Bill 2398. This is relating to the Hawaii Community Development Authority, the Pulehunui Community District, and HCDA, some changes in the membership, the Board of Land and Natural Resources being included. The conference draft was circulated to everybody. And the only change there was deleting the authority of community development districts to, oh, wait a minute, let's introduce our members now that we have everybody here really quickly. Chair, Sharon Moriwaki, the co-chairs, we have Wakai, Inoue, Kanuha, and Kim. Whoa, super majority. And
Thank you.
For the House.
Thank you very much, Chair. On the House, we have co-chairs Tarnas and Yamashita and member Bronco.
Aloha. Okay, moving back to Senate Bill 2398. I was just saying that the only change was deleting the authority in community development districts and putting the authority at the big board, the HCDA. Other than that, we effect the date and we do have release, so we can proceed.
Yes, we agree to the conference draft, which deletes that one phrase, 206C, rules adoption. The authority may adopt rules in accordance with Chapter 91 to carry out the purposes of this part. That was deleted, and we agree with that because HCDA has the authority to develop rules on their own. So with that, we do have FIN release, so we would be prepared to vote on the measure.
Terrific. And we have a full house here. We have Senator Fazella joining us because it's so important, Pulehu Nui.
Not
Okay.
because the chairman takes everybody to be.
Okay, so we will proceed then with adopting the conference draft one. Chair votes aye. Senator Wakai, co-chair, Senator Wakai. Co-chair Inoue, co-chair Kanuha, co-chair Kim, Senator Favela.
Aye.
And do you want me to take a vote for the House?
Yes, that'd be very kind of you. Thank you.
Okay, Chair Tarnas.
Aye.
Co-chair Yamashita. Member Bronco.
Aye.
And member McDermott is
Is
excused.
excused.
Okay, so we have a bill.
Thank you very much.
Oh, wait, the time. The
Time.
time
Put the
is
time
now
down.
4:36.
Yeah.
Oh, 4:30. Thank you, everybody.
Yay, Pulehu Nui.
Yay, Pulehu Nui, finally.
I need
Yeah.
to sign it after you
Yeah.
finish.
Adopted. Thank you.
Or just give it to Scott. He'll bring it over.
Thank you. Pleasure working with you.
Oh, pleasure.
Chair.
Yeah, did you sign, Senator?